Absent with notice. Powell. Smith Charles.
Present.
Erickson Galt.
Here.
Spiz.
Present.
Woodward. Is there a second row? Markham is absent with notice as well. Taylor.
Here,
You have sworn.
thank you. Would you all please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance? And would you lead us, please, Commissioner Smith Charles?
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. I'd like to receive a motion for the approval of the minutes for, we have A through F, and we can take them all at once. Our minutes are dated August 5th, 2025, August 6th, 2025, August 7th, 2025, August 19th, 2025, August 20th, 2025, and August 21st, 2025. I'll move that. Moved by Smith Charles and seconded by Spitz.
Yep.
Commissioner Spitz, thank you. All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you. Next, we'll have the approval of the agenda.
So moved.
Moved by Spitz, supported by Commissioner Powell. All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you. Motion passes. Next, we have our public comment. If there's anyone here from the public wishing to speak, you'll have 3 minutes on items that are on the agenda. Would you please give us your name and?
Thank you, Commissioners. My name is Pete Mena. I manage the Indigent Defense Services Office. I just wanted to give you an update on an item that was originally supposed to be on the agenda, which was our MIDC grant. I talked about it in our budget hearing. The state has pushed that off, and they have done so for many large systems, including Wayne, Macomb, Kent, many of the bigger counties, until later in October because of the uncertainty surrounding the state budget. So that's not really gonna have a fiscal impact on us because we have carryover funds in the local share. But I did just wanna bring it up since I mentioned it in my budget presentation that will be somewhat delayed. So thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else?
Hey everybody, Charlie from Ferndale, County Commissioner. Okay, so there are 2 things on your agenda today that I think may be challenging for you all. So I just want to lift up first, our job as elected officials is to ensure the public's trust. So the 2 things, first, there's a thing called the MEDC bank account. This was a bank account that it was lost over the course of 3 years. We talked about that in the audit subcommittee. The audit subcommittee is also asked to receive the debits and credits of this bank account, which had millions of dollars flow through it in 2020 and 2021. And those have yet to be received. This bank account was also flagged for irregularities by the IRS. And again, just to put a finer point on it, we did not reconcile this bank account as discovered by our auditors and reported in the audit subcommittee for nearly 3 years. And so please ask yourself, why are there no supporting documents of this bank account that's being closed that had millions of dollars go through it with no consideration to the accounting for it? Second thing, today you'll also be voting on the Clemus spinoff with a $10 million down payment from Oakland County taxpayers. Just a few weeks ago, if we all recall, Clemus, and this project specifically, was found to have a conflict of interest contract worth $450,000 because there was an LLC owned by a Clemus IT county employee who was receiving payment as both an employee and through an LLC. And now we're going to spin it off into a less transparent, less publicly accountable authority with more public money. So please, just ask, why is Clemus not investing that $10 million as just a county department, which it has been since its creation in 1968? Why not treat Clemus like equalization, where some of us have said the cost is the cost? And just to, again, make sure that makes sense, Clemus Clemus's competitor, Tyler Technologies, costs roughly $1,100 per unit per month. Clemus costs about $300 per unit per month. So when we charge for services, we can make up the difference like we have. So please, just remember, your job is to ensure the public's trust.
Thank you. Is there anyone else? Seeing none, I will declare our public comment closed. Next, we go to communications. And we have 5 items here for communication. We can make a recommendation to receive and file them all at once, and then I can ask if there's any questions, or you can look at them individually one by one. Is there any, Commissioner?
Thank you, Chair. I'll move to receive and file them all together.
Supported. Thank you. It's been moved by Commissioner Erickson Galt, seconded or supported by our Commissioner Powell, to receive and file communications item A, 2025 Comprehensive ARPA Annual Report. Item B is the Delinquent Tax Revolving Fund Report, third quarter, FY 2025. Item C is the Investment Report, third quarter, FY 2025. Item D is 2023 Report of Real Property Foreclosure Sales. Item E, Pontiac Redevelopment Project Monthly Reports. You wanna do a voice? Commissioner, any?
Yes, thank you. The ARPA receive and file for annual report, from a organizational standpoint, I would like it to be stated in the record that I don't think the Board of Commissioners was included in this document. I think we should be, our names, because it doesn't happen unless we give the okay. So in further iterations, especially since the heavy lifting came from this body of what to do with ARPA dollars, I just think that's an unfortunate oversight. That's all I got.
Okay.
I'll point out there's a photo of Commissioner Smith Charles and Erickson Galt. That's it, but I think you make a very good point, and I will reach out to whoever produced this. I assume this is the Office of Public Communications,
Okay.
to add, similar to like other reports, like a page that recognizes the full Board of Commissioners as part of this.
Thank you. Did you have?
Yeah, that's it.
Commissioner Spitz?
Thank you, Madam Chair. I just have a request on the Pontiac Development Report. For example, if you go to the summary on expenditures for the demolition of the Phoenix Center, it has the actuals in there, the change in actuals, but I don't know what the budget actually was for that part of it. Was it gonna cost us 2 million, 1 million? It's at 1.2 right now. When's it end, right? So if we can get whatever budget amounts or what we expected quote amount, something like that in there, as
Sure,
another column, that would be
I could
good.
add a footnote, that's on the Adamo contract, that was one of the first contracts that the board had approved, and it's like 3.4 million or something.
Right, and
I
just-
can add a footnote.
Just to add a column in there so we understand what it is, because I don't know if it's 3.4, I have another $2 million I'm expecting to see in the
Oh,
future,
okay.
right?
Any other discussion? Commissioner?
And just like one question, and I don't see anyone from the treasurer's office here, so we probably can't get the answer. The number of foreclosed properties, 85, relatively small number when you consider how many parcels. I'm gonna guess that most of these are vacant. Actually, do you know the answer to my question already?
I didn't hear the question.
Oh, the question is like-
I was running in though, because
Oh,
we do usually let her know if we have questions.
Oh, we have a question, yeah, and we don't know, I just like, if staff can just go back and like, how many of the 85 are vacant parcels versus like homes?
Yeah, we can follow up.
And could you send that information to
Yeah,
all?
in center of
commissioners?
them.
Yeah, absolutely.
Seeing no other questions or discussion, would you please prompt the vote for all items under communication, items A through E?
You have 7 yeas, 0 nays.
Thank you, motion passes. That brings us to our departmental recommendations. We have several here too. So our first is the extension with AT&T Master Services Agreement for IT. So moved if there's support. Okay, moved by Commissioner Spears, supported by Commissioner Gershenson.
Alright, so good morning, Rod Davenport, CIO for IT.
And Monty Logan, Director of Infrastructure Services, Oakland County.
Okay.
So Monty will walk us through, we're looking to extend the master service agreement for AT&T to accommodate new lines. AT&T's got a kind of a hard limit where they only will do a 3-year agreement for new circuits. And although it has not yet expired, it will next year. So we're just trying to get ahead of things to make sure that we have some flexibility, operational flexibility moving forward.
Yeah, and just to add to what Rod just mentioned, we're implementing a new voice solution, and that new voice solution, the circuit, it's gonna call Arda, will be deployed for 36 months, right? So it will end at 28, and our master services agreement term ends at 26. Ergo, we need to actually extend the master services agreement. It doesn't extend the underlying services that we consume from AT&T, but it's just the terms of service that we have for all of the services with respect to AT&T. And just for note, the services we have the internet circuits. Our internet circuits are through AT&T. We have the Clemus lease lines through AT&T. Our FirstNet service from a mobility standpoint with AT&T, as well as the radio circuits that we have. Those are also with AT&T. So by way of a service, we'll still continue to be with AT&T over the foreseeable future. So this just governs the master services terms. So the ask is to extend it for another 5 years out to 2031.
Thank you. Commissioners, Commissioner Spitz?
Thank you, Madam Chair. Any way to expedite it from 2028? Speed it up. Our transfer. You mentioned that we're not gonna be implemented until 2028.
No, that's when that circuit ends. So we're putting in, so the new VoIP solution, we're implementing that now.
Right.
Okay, with the goal, this will help us give us some resiliency.
Right.
So, but we can't order that circuit because the AT&T agreement won't allow us to actually create a new circuit because it exceeds the terms of the master service agreement.
Okay, maybe I misunderstood your comment. Okay, thank you.
Any other Commissioner Smith-Charles?
Yeah, thanks. So there's a dozen or so COs here listed. Contract order.
Yes, so from AT&T, every time we have a new service come in, we get a new amendment to the agreement, and there's like 36 plus
Got it.
extensions to that existing agreement.
Okay. And so each one of these COs has a description of change
That is
specifically.
correct, of the underlying service that we're now consuming from AT&T.
It does seem cumbersome and easy for confusion to have so many. Is this forever and ever?
Today, we have 185 circuits with AT&T, right, plus other services. So as things come up and go down, we have amendments to the existing agreement.
All right. And just as an aside, FirstNet is an AT&T product?
Yes, FirstNet would be a large number of the county mobile phones are running FirstNet. So FirstNet is an enhanced network for people or first responders, so that in the event that we had a tragedy, right, we'd have our first responders be able to actually access cell phone network first before the general public comes on.
Got it. All right. I'll leave it at that for now, because my FirstNet in Southfield where I'm at fails to act like a first responder would need.
That's that first.
Yeah, so just love to provide you with instantaneous feedback on that. So that's all I got.
Okay, thank you. Anyone else? Okay, seeing none, want to prompt the vote? Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, that brings us to our next item. Actually, the next 3 items is from Fiscal Services. Item B is the creation of the fiscal services sunset positions for 2025 and fiscal year 2026. Item C is for 2025 third quarter forecast and budget amendments. And item D is the close Oakland County MEDC bank account and transfer of funds to the general operating bank account.
Madam Chair, was the last vote unanimous?
6.
2-0.
Okay,
Thank you.
Sorry, need a motion to move on.
yes.
I'm motioning.
Move all three at the same time, or?
Yeah, we're doing all three.
Okay, at the same time, you want to do them separately? Do you have a preference?
I'm not sure yet on one of them, so.
Okay, but we can always,
Yeah, we can remove it at the end.
The last
Yeah,
one, I
you
think
can
there's gonna
put
be
it.
more discussion on.
okay, when I open up for discussion, we can
Yeah.
definitely do that.
I have questions on all of them, but.
Okay,
So my motion is for us to do all three, with the understanding that if one needs to be pulled, we'll pull it.
Yeah,
For
for discussion.
more discussion.
Thank you.
yeah, more discussion. Is there support? Right. Okay, it's been moved by Commissioner Powell, supported by Commissioner Gershon. And I will turn the floor over to fiscal services.
No, this, he ain't got, not this something separate, it ain't got nothing to do with it.
Good morning,
Good morning, Brian Loeffler, CFO.
Cheryl Johnson, Deputy CFO.
Hey, that's your first item.
So the first item is a request for sunset positions for fiscal services. We have two long-term employees that are retiring. One, our chief of reimbursement, been with the county a very long time. She's leaving in May. And it's super important that we overlap that position so that there's continuity between the job. And the other person is a accountant 3 in the grants division, and she will be leaving in December. So we're asking for sunset positions to cover those until those people retire. What'll happen, just to familiarize with sunset positions, is we put them in place, we sunset the position of the person that's retiring, and we create the new position that will go on, and then when the person retires, that position goes away. So it's just an overlap.
So the concept here is, rather than waiting for the person to retire, hire the new one and then bring the retiring person back for continuity or transfer the information. We're trying to get ahead of this. So a strong emphasis is continuity, business continuity and succession planning. You may be seeing that more often through this budget going forward. So we're actually asking others to do the same.
Thank you. Commissioners? Commissioner Spivey.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I am 100% supporting this. I'm glad to see us doing something like this. My question is probably more for HR. Do we have an HR policy versus you guys having to come in, or other departments having to come in all the time to do sunset positions for retirees? Because I think it's a great idea to get that knowledge transfer in before the individual retires versus bring it back, like you said. But I think we need to develop an internal policy to do such a thing, unless the board is happy with all these departments starting to come in on a regular basis to do just this.
HR currently doesn't have a
I didn't think
policy
so.
to just blanket.
So, but the one thing is we do need funding upfront, so.
Understand.
Okay, that's fine, that's fair. Sure.
Yeah, but I would like to see us have, and maybe the board of commissioners can work on this, have some type of written policy that this is a normal course of action for us. But put some bookmarks around it, bookends around it, like it's 6 months, 3 months, 8 months, that you're looking, if somebody's gonna come in or somebody's gonna retire, we're allowed to do this 6 months prior to their retirement or 3 months to get that knowledge transfer going.
So would you entertain something like a 6-month window? We could put some funds into non-departmental that could then be utilized without coming back to the board for those additional funds for that 6 months?
If it was specific for this topic, yes.
Yeah,
got a
absolutely.
specific
No,
line
it would
item
just be
that's set.
for sunset positions
Yeah, and I think the
for
one thing,
retirees.
the other thing though too, you also do a quarterly, HR does a quarterly report, then you'll also get it reported how we've done that.
Yeah.
So, fair enough, I like that, appreciate it.
Thank you.
Makes sense.
Commissioner, thank you. Are you?
I'm good, thank you.
So wait, I think the policy being written is something good too. So would that policy be under fiscal, or is it gonna be some combined eventually? So it is in our handbook to see as employees, oh, we got this option it's just the knowledge base,
So
right?
it's a very similar concept already with fiscal where we had the old emergency salary positions.
Okay, got it.
So we're gonna probably build upon that
Okay.
concept. But it is a collaboration between HR and fiscal.
Okay.
Is that, let's say, for example, you fund this business continuity concept, let's say for $500,000. As soon as somebody is quote front loaded for that business continuity, we have to make sure that those dollars are then reduced from that non-departmental part, but then you see what has been done,
Got it, okay.
okay?
All
So
right.
I appreciate it, so there's gotta be a collaboration for us and HR.
Got it, okay. Thank you.
Appreciate you guys work out the details.
It's a great
Thank you.
suggestion, thank you.
Commissioner Smith Charles.
Thank you, Chair. On the Schedule A, so if I'm following, Cheryl, you mentioned 2 sunset positions or 3?
It's should be
It's
just two
I
positions.
believe it's 2, let me just double check.
And the reason I'm asking is just as I look at the transfers, what caught my eye originally was contingency, but it looks like it's just coming out of the non-department transfers into these various fiscals. And so there's like 3 of each, so salaries regular, all the way down to workers' comp, hospitalization. So I guess I just wanna make sure that I'm following. Cause one of the salaries regular is 15,000, the other's 39, others 82. So are perhaps people being, the one person getting 2 tranches from 2 different tranches? I'm on Schedule A, just if that's.
It's the 2 positions I mentioned, one is leaving in December, one is leaving in May. I'm not sure why that's listed on there 3 times, I can look into that. But it is definitely 2 sunset positions, one through December 13th, which is the accountant position, and then the one through May. But I'll look into that.
Yeah.
It could just be in there, easier for them to do, I don't know.
So then I'm gonna reserve my yes to full board. So it'll be a no today, just so I can get more clarification, or I could say yes and just ask that it's pulled to regular. I mean, I don't have a feel either way, not to, just for good governance and oversight.
That's fine. Any other questions? Discussion? 8B. Okay. All right, let's go to the next item. Which is,
The 3rd quarter forecast.
yes.
That begins on page, this packet is a little on the large side,
Yes.
Okay.
so that begins, I just had it. 447 is the PDF page. If that helps you. No, doesn't help you?
I mean, we have the PDFs that are.
Okay.
I saw.
Oh, yeah.
This is our regular quarterly forecast, this is the 3rd quarter forecast. What I like to do is usually take your attention to page 14 of this report, which is page 464 of the PDF. And that's the summary where we're talking about the forecast for the balance of 25. We have one more quarter on top of this. As it stands right now, everything looks favorable. State grants is 43,000 unfavorable. Other than that, everything on here is forecasted to be favorable. And the bottom line to look at is the anticipation was 56 million coming out of planned use. And as of right now, it looks like we're only gonna take 48.8. So that's a favorable of 7.7 from any anticipated dollars out of fund balance.
Okay, thank you for that. Commissioners, are there any questions? Anything to discuss? Okay. We can prompt the vote for items B. I'm sorry.
Yeah, just for good measure. This third quarter forecast and budget amendment, were there any, I always look at the lens of strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats. Just did anything rise to the level? You're much more acquainted with the various line items and what have you.
The only thing that I would say looks like an anomaly is in the revenues and investment income. We have a $9.8 million favorable investment income at this point. The investment income line has just been tricky for the last couple of years. So we're trying to be conservative in that line, and I would much rather see a favorable amount of $9 million in there than an unfavorable. So that is something that we will change every year. We're gonna look at it, we look at trends, but just because of the environment of the interest rates and things that are going on, that's the only thing that is stood out to me as, wow, this is really big. But those are actual dollars that we're going with. So I know the feds are talking about an interest rate reduction, so that's why we're gonna stay conservative with that particular line item.
Treasurer Whitberg also mentioned that during his budget hearing, he's trying to be the same thing under Act 20.
Got it.
But that's really the only thing, Commissioner.
And there's no penalties for a governmental unit earning interest and earning a buck.
No, as long as it's not in, like, there are some things that are restricted funds that either we have to use the interest for what that fund was restricted for. There's a few other outliers. There are some, like if we're holding money for construction things, any of that interest has to go back to, like if it's a construction bond, usually that interest has to go back to the company who we're holding that bond for. But other than that, there are no restrictions. There are restrictions to what can be invested in, and that's the treasurer's office area of expertise. But in general, if we're investing in the appropriate items and the investment rate is humongous, we can take advantage of that.
Okay, not to beat this up, some of you who've been here longer, are we, this concept of uncollectible debts, is that a norm? And maybe I'll back over here.
The backup for that is at the very end of the report, which is around page 513 in the PDF, 63 on the document. And we get these quarterly from the different departments, like pet adoption and things like that. This is, oh wait, that's contributions, sorry. Pointed you in the wrong direction, hold please. But each department brings those to us as an uncollectible debt, and that's why they come to you, because we do not have the authority to write them off. They have to come to you. There should be backup in the packet of what that's for. And if you need additional questions or clarification on any of that stuff, we can get that for you.
Okay. I mean, it's nominal for a budget our size, but people look for loopholes in future years when they realize, oh, they'll just write it off. So just wanting to be mindful of that.
Oh, yeah. Okay, thank you. Anyone else? I think we should vote on these B and C, A and, I'm sorry, item 8, B and C. Could we prompt the vote for those two items and then we'll discuss?
Commissioner Smith-Charles and Nolan.
We have 6 yeas and 1 nay.
Moving to item D, which is the close Oakland County MEDC bank account and transfer funds to the general operating bank account.
Correct. I'll take this one. So at the last,
I'm sorry, I thought I had a motion.
After this.
I'm sorry, I might, I thought there was,
Yes, it was general, it was included.
that's great.
Okay, thank you.
Ready? Okay. So at the last audit subcommittee, there was a discussion and we brought forth the bank reconciliation issue that was in the findings for the FY 2024 audit. In there, they were talking about 13 accounts that were not reconciled and therefore the auditors had found that as a finding. Of the 13 accounts, 12 of them were related to the district courts. One of them was related to this MEDC bank account. The 12 district courts, those accounts are actually held outside the courts. The process has been revised is that they still do the bank reconciliation at the courts. They come over to fiscal, we sign off on them. So we're looking for in FY 2025 that those 12 accounts are, it's not gonna be a finding for FY 2025. On this MEDC bank account, this is the account that was utilized for the about $31.7 million of CARES money and MEDC money. That money came through and was dispersed out to a whole host of individuals in different categories. So at the audit subcommittee, we do have the documentation. The challenge I have with it, without having to redact people's names and account numbers on reams of paper, but that is available if those for inspection. So of the $31.7 million, there were checks that were returned because people didn't cash them, and at the end of the day, and this is one of the things that we found the difference between the old auditor and the new auditor, the former auditor Plant Moran, in terms of what they asked to look at versus what Raymond was really looking at. This came out that this account was not reconciled. And what we did do, Fiscal Services did do, is Candy Skiles, who, for those who are on the committee, went all the way back to essentially the assumption of the account and did a bank reconciliation all the way up to, in this case, it was July, and they're gonna essentially do it in August as well. And inside that account, which is the account is held at PNC Bank, there's $242,905.94. Part of the money that also went into that account was a $2 million appropriation from the general fund. So all the money that the county had received from outside sources other than the general fund was dispersed out. So given the fact that the $242,000 we view is deemed as general fund dollars not used in this account, we're asking the board to close out the account and this money goes back to your operating account for reappropriation.
Back to where I didn't hear you.
The general fund operating account. So essentially, the 2 million, and kind of a sum, is that there was $2 million that of general fund dollars that we actually went into this MEDC account. We spent pretty much all of it except for this 242 because those checks came back, and therefore we want to close out the account. And the reason we're asking to do it now is that before the end of the fiscal year, I'd like to see this finding go away for our fiscal year audit of 2025.
Thank you, commissioners. Commissioner Spence.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I do have some questions. I missed the last audit subcommittee, so I'd like to take a look at those records if I can.
Sure.
Set up a separate meeting outside of this because I can understand the names and needing redaction, but if we can do that in private, we don't need to.
Sure,
do
I'd
that.
be happy
So
to
we can
do
set up something outside of this, I would appreciate that. Second question is, do we know what that $2 million that we put into that fund was intended to be for?
Yeah, okay, go ahead.
So the $2 million, so this is right when COVID happened.
Right, and because we
And then
split a lot of things
and there
up.
was money set for like emergency situations, so it could be a natural disaster and everything, and so there was money set aside just in the budget for emergency response, and so we took that money immediately trying to help provide support to small businesses.
So we could tie that to a resolution, is what you're saying?
Yes. Oh, yes, so part of the
That was actually the very first action, I think, that we did.
I know we did a lot of stuff quickly to get things
Quickly, yeah,
moving.
no, we did it-
And that's
we
what I
did
wanna
it
understand,
immediately.
what's that $2 million for, if it was for emergency
If I remember
purposes, and
correctly,
put
we
it in there?
created like the zones and then commissioners sat in committees and like working with local chambers, it's like, let's get these dollars out as quickly as possible because of the shutdown and everything that was happening, so.
Right, I just wanna make sure we can tie it back to a resolution that the board did, that we're putting at 242 that's coming back into the general fund, that we can say, okay, we only, instead of using the 2 million, we only used
1.85, yeah.
Yeah, so you'll see in the packet that for information that we can certainly show to you, Commissioner, is not only the resolution that showed the 2 million coming in, there's gonna be the accompanying bank statements from PNC Bank showing the dollars coming in from the 2 million sitting there, and then you'll see how the check's going out
Okay,
and checking, and then at the end, you'll start seeing for pretty much for the last year, 242 just sticking in that account, sitting there.
And my final question is, how do we make sure something like this doesn't happen again?
So there is so in the memorandum that we'd actually submitted for the audit subcommittee is there's now a new process between fiscal services. We don't open up the bank accounts. It's the treasurer's office because they manage the money. So anytime that they have opened up an account, they're supposed to essentially on a monthly reconciliation basis, here's our accounts on a month-to-month basis. So then when we find out, oh yeah, we opened up this new account, it now triggers us to say, okay, now we have to start reconciling another account. So now this one, if you close this account now, this account is now gonna be dropped off their list. So we stop reconciling something that doesn't exist, but it really houses with the county treasurer of opening of accounts. And that communication has, is now being improved.
So I hear you that we have a new process, but how do we control our processes? This is my next step, We put a new process in place, which we can say, so is it a process that we have written down that is, I'm gonna get a little geeky here, is a controlled document that is, to change that process, it's gotta go through a formal change procedure process, or is it something that we just have an email with an agreement between fiscal and treasurer's office says this is how we're gonna do it going forward? How do we control that process? Cause let's say 5 years from now, you're not here, somebody else is here, and we don't know that process exists and something happens again.
Yeah, I mean, I look to say that Candice Giles, who's head of that, working with the treasurer's office, that from my perspective, that's what, I don't have I'm expecting that this is what they're gonna send over, is a list of accounts that they opened up, i.e. bank accounts, to Candice. Candice and her team then says, okay, what are on these accounts, and that they're gonna just check, so they have to send it to us over a monthly basis. Giving another example, what's our process to make sure we make our debt service payments on a timely basis? My expectation is we do have a contract, say with Huntington, or in this case, US Bank. We are trying to put into place, like for right now, I'm waiting for the accounts from, we're trying to figure out how to get our accounts based on the contract between us and Huntington. If there's a process of saying, hey, here's a new procedure for us, this is something we've told the auditors that we're expecting, that this information is coming over on a monthly basis. I'm expecting that the auditors are checking that, are you receiving this on a monthly basis?
And that was mentioned at the audit subcommittee. The auditors are going to be adding that to their list of things to check.
Which is good, but
There
to
is-
me, that's after the fact.
But there is one more thing that
Versus
has to
upfront.
happen with the new ERP system with Workday. So everything has its own bank tag,
Right.
bank working tag. In order to get a new work tag, you have to go through Fiscal. So if they open a new account and they need a new bank work tag, they have to come through Fiscal. So that's gonna be one way.
So through Workday.
Through Workday.
Through Workday,
So
yeah,
you
it
can
has
say
to be
Workday,
approved.
Workday is your new tool to help
Yes.
control this process. Okay.
Yes.
That's kind of what I was looking for. How are you gonna stop this from ever
Okay.
happening again?
Yep.
And if Workday has that feature into it and it's a set software program,
Yes,
that as soon as they pull a request for a new account, it goes to Fiscal to pull your new number,
providing, well,
which is an approval per se, and it goes back and then they can go.
providing they're putting it in in an appropriate work tag for that bank and they create a new one for a new bank account, that's another trigger for us.
Okay, thank you.
Commissioner Smith Charles.
Yeah, thanks, Chair. Your time is up. So I have the privilege of serving on this audit subcommittee. Certainly want to thank my colleague Commissioner Cavell for his great service on that body. And when we were, this kind of was first elevated, and I also want to thank the other members of the team who didn't wait till next year to try to figure out how to get this right. What gave me some additional confidence was in that subcommittee meeting. Since you said her name, Candice, I try to just use the position, not the name. Seemed to have done us a great service uncovering so much good information here to allow us to write, continuous improvement is a buzzword that we hear a lot, so that we can be improving at all times. So the thing that I like to further highlight is just simply the importance of not having the same audit firm every time. Like, you know, sometimes you get into a rhythm, everybody uses Plant Moran around these parts, and they're great. But, you know, if you've been doing it for 15 years, you're likely not gonna see some of your mistakes. So, and much to my surprise, I think I was driving down Big Beaver and I saw Raymond along the side of a building, and I'm like, hot dog, here we are supporting Oakland County businesses too. So, just as a full circle little takeaway, but just wanted to leave that there.
Thank you. Jeremy?
I wanna echo that. I mean, I think people around this table have been here for a while, for a long time, making the case to, on some level of frequency, you change auditors to bring up everything you did. And there was always one reason. The most recent one is like, okay, now COVID just happened. I mean, going through the whole process. And I think as a result of it, it brings attention. And I wanna commend Fiscal for moving quickly to making sure that some of the appropriate accounts are reconciled and what's the explanation of what this money is for. And I think we have definitely done this, that the dollars that were released out to, and Oakland County moved faster than any other county to push money out to local small businesses to help keep their doors open, to make sure the rent got paid and all those types of things, more so than, faster than any other county. And I think that is commendable, not to mention, and actually positioned ourselves to be in a position to help even more businesses, which is why the MEDC dollars came into the account to be able to push. Supporting our local restaurants at a degree. I had an opportunity this last weekend to go to one of those restaurants who the owner was incredibly appreciative at a time which I don't know how we're gonna survive this will buy us time to reinvent ourselves during that moment. And so I am very comfortable with the explanation. The systems that have been put in place, I think our new auditor with a new fresh set of eyes help identify. I think when you put in the context of the 13 counts that were brought to attention, and this one had the issues that were identified quickly and swiftly addressed it, is exactly what the good governance is about, and we've accomplished it. So I'm supportive of taking this action to move things forward. I guess I have a clarification. I know are we going to assign this dollars to the veteran services, or is that part of the, or we're gonna do that part of the budget?
Yeah, I'd actually talked about in terms of having, I call it like an amendment to the initial resolution to say close out the account, is that the $242,905.42 would then be, once it goes into your general operating account, then it is then reappropriated to veteran services divisions, to their budget, to provide additional support for veterans programs. Now, this is gonna then happen in fiscal year 2025. Well, you complete this on September 18th. It's pretty hard to spend the 242 up right away. The second paragraph is that it would then therefore resolve that any unexpended amount not spent in fiscal 2025 be carried forward in a subsequent budget forecast for utilization in fiscal year 2026. So if anything is during the budget process that we had heard from Veteran Services is because of the cuts that they had received, or the reductions, I should say, is that this was an opportunity for, and when you think about it, this is kind of COVID like related type purpose, that these dollars would then, because there was dollars that did go to Veterans Services from the original part of the 31.7. I don't know that, I just saw it, but I don't recall the total amount, but
We're supporting the VA organization.
VA's organization, so therefore this would be very similar to that, and then it would go into that line item is the, just go ahead, put it right into this so that if everybody wants to, that it would be done here through finance.
So for clarity and purposes of today, we're only voting on moving it to the general fund, and then you're gonna submit.
No, it's the whole.
You're gonna do both?
Yeah,
Okay,
yeah, I
Okay.
created I created the resolution that said to close the account, but then as we were moving through the budget
Oh, I
process.
see, and transfer.
And then there would be this reappropriation,
So Veteran Affairs is not
Okay.
likely to spend it
Okay.
between now and the 30th.
I got you.
And so it automatically will transfer over to the next fiscal year.
Okay,
and carry forward.
okay.
And I think it's just important, and I know that this body very much supports our
Okay.
veterans, our veteran services. The state Veteran Trust Fund, we were given an award, and then the state said, oops, we gave you too much or we told you too much, and yet a plan was built on what you gave us. And so this will,
Okay.
I mean, it almost fills that gap that was identified. So I think it's an appropriate move to make sure that our veterans have the support that they deserve.
Struggling.
Thank you.
I will, I mean, it's, just one, Madam Chair, one more thing is, you're gonna hear me say this a lot, especially when we look to the past and we were talking about the ARPA report. Another thing that Oakland County did that no other county did is like turn to our veteran service organizations. These are your VAs, your American Legions and VFWs, et cetera. That when they had to close, and they depend on activity to keep their doors open. And as a county, we stepped up and supported every one of those institutions in Oakland County, and that was a priority, helped defined and lifted up by our fellow colleagues here on the sport, so.
Thank you. I just wanted to also say thank you to Candice Skiles, because she went above and beyond. She even went through the achievement process. There's things that you have to do. She did all of that. She really put a lot of work into doing this, and so I just want to say great job to
I'm
her.
not sure we passed that along.
Yeah, she's new, she's from internal, and she's been fantastic. And just even like with our auditors, have been great partners to help us continue moving forward.
Okay. Commissioners, are there any other questions, comments? Okay, would you please prompt the vote?
There's 7 yeas, 0 nays.
Thank you very much.
Motion passes. Thank you. Next, we have item 8E, which is the formation of the Courts and Law Enforcement Management Information System, Clemus, Authority for recommendation to the board. Can I get a motion? Moved by Commissioner Spiz, supported by Commissioner Galt.
Right.
Thank you, Madam Chair. We're just gonna run this briefly. I know whenever we get in front of you, we like to explain and take the opportunity to explain what Clemus is and what it does. But I'm gonna try to be real brief. It's only, I think, 90 seconds. Michael, can you?
Yep, they have it right here. I can pass it.
We're just gonna run that way we don't have to go through, yeah. Yes. There should be one there for oh, wait.
Sorry.
Great, here we go. If we can take the top. So the button that needs to be hit by someone.
You ready?
Yep.
Yes.
There's no border to crime. To have the cross collaboration amongst the agencies and be able to share data, it's almost invaluable. Just a few key words and we might get data as new as an hour ago.
Clemus is the largest law enforcement technology consortium in the United States. If you're looking for reports under records management, tickets, crashes, impounds, activity logs, property, all of that's searchable, mugshots, they're all searchable so that you can look through there and hopefully find the person, the place, the thing that you're looking for.
Without this network, we would go back to the 80s and to the 90s where departments didn't talk to one another, that we wouldn't have that instant access to keep not only the officers safe, but the community safe as well.
Bloomfield Township has used Clemus to solve multiple cases, including homicide.
Having a network of agencies that can talk to each other in a matter of seconds can help save lives. It can help officers on traffic stops. They can make the community that they live in and that are connected to the network safer.
There really isn't the funding available to modernize the technology as much as it needs to be.
Really saves time when we're trying to solve crime and identify suspects and limit the number of victims that they have going forward.
All right. Thank you for the opportunity to get in front of you here today. I'm joined by, go ahead.
Jim Gallagher, Chief of Police of Bloomfield Township.
White Lake Township Chief of Police.
Bojang.
Steve Schneider, Captain, Oakland County Sheriff's Technology Division.
What's your name, sir, White Lake?
Dan Keller, sorry.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Expecting that video, all three of these.
Yeah, y'all did a nice video. That was a great video.
So we've been in front of the committee two prior times to share this information. This is something that's really important to Clemus as we move forward, and it is really about the modernization of Clemus. Clemus, as you heard in the video, has been around for a long time, and it is a national spotlight of how things should be done. And but we need to adopt a new model that will move forward, and really what today is about is taking the final step and creating an authority. Of course, the final step, if it's approved here by the committee, would be next week, and that is to create an authority that's separate from Oakland County that will stand on its own to deliver this Clemus going forward. Bo, anything to add?
Yeah, absolutely. This will definitely allow us to modernize, and as the chiefs have explained in the video, the need for it to solve crime and really help us really expand this beyond just being a Southeast Michigan platform today around 10 to 11 counties. We think this is very, very valuable for public safety, not just in Michigan, but the Midwest as well as across the nation.
Okay, thank you, and so Commissioner.
What are your, where do you come from, or what are your?
Right now, I'm assisting Oakland County in the transition of this to the authority.
Thank you. Commissioners, do you have any questions? Commissioner Powell?
Wait a minute, y'all said to do a separate authority board from us? Is that what y'all just asked for?
Yeah, this
Why?
this is a, well, we went over the,
So it'll be no
we went over
oversight
the,
of commissioners no more, is that what we saying? And y'all separate from just the
this is
county
an
here?
independent authority that would continue to expand. It is,
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Never mind, he was giving me
No,
another
'cause
example of a
OCHM,
setup.
you the board.
So is it almost
Yeah.
like, so is it almost like too, like how Oakland Thrive, how we unseated them from under us too? Is that the same, cause it got a board over them too?
well, that's a nonprofit board. This is an authority. It's under the Urban Cooperation Acts, which is in your resolution.
Okay.
and-
I'm just trying to understand this whole
And there is
separation.
appointments. One of the appointments comes from this board, the governing body. There's appointments by the county executive, and each member of Clemus that joins, currently there's 250 members, assuming those 250 members join, would now be part of the board of directors. Right now, they're an advisory committee.
Thank you for that breakdown.
Mr. Chairman, did you have a comment? No. Commissioner Spitz?
Thank you, Madam Chair. I know the resolution indicates $10 million. Please remind everyone where the $10 million is coming from and what it's being used for.
Well, the $10 million would come from the Strategic Investment Fund, and it is part of the modernization of Clemus currently. Do you want to speak to
Yeah,
that?
absolutely. And so basically the fund is for capital expenditures to help with the modernization, which is largely spending on cloud transition. So right now the platform is in Oakland County IT servers. The platform is also about 17 years dated. And so we have to modernize that for cloud and mobility, working with the chiefs and working with Captain Schneider. There's needs to have mobile solutions so that we can reduce cost, not in the hardware as well. And also help officers and deputies in the field more versus relying on going back into a squad car or back into a station for reporting as well as data access. So we desperately need it, obviously to help the police departments and officers and deputies becoming more 21st century and also more mobile in the law enforcement.
Would that $10 million be reimbursed in the future or no?
No, that's an investment.
And then my second question has to do with the contracting issue we had in the past. Has that been resolved? And is that something you can update me and maybe the other commissioners on outside of this?
So in regards to resolved, we are still doing an investigation. We intend to come back to the Board of Commissioners, as we stated in July, that we would be back here the end of September, October timeframe to show further information in regards to what we've uncovered. That's not gonna take place with the independent authority. There will be other
Agreed.
rules put in place.
I'm just taking advantage that you're sitting here to ask that question.
Thank you. Any other questions? Okay, go, Commissioner Smith Charles.
Yeah, thank you. So after, hypothetically today, if it passes and then next Thursday, at some point, Clemus would no longer be Oakland County. Is that basically what I'm hearing?
That's correct.
I mean, this is pretty big. I know how proud we are of Clemus over the years with what it is, and silly me, I thought we were getting money for it, not the other way around. In terms of data privacy, you know, when we think about agencies, law enforcement agencies sharing data, sometimes it's a good thing. Most times it's a good thing. I just want us to, you know, be mindful of that. Clemus will be like a public entity, like will we see it on the stock exchange maybe one day?
No. It's a public, it is a public entity in regards to an independent authority that is created by Michigan statute. So it has rules and obligations. I think if you look at the FAQs that were passed out there, it kind of helps outline a couple of things there. In regards to, there's still guidance from Michigan state statute that it needs to comply with under the Urban Cooperation Act.
Got it. So an authority, and you know, authorities can be.
An example of an authority would be the Wayne County Airport Authority.
Yeah, zoo and
Exactly.
others. And just lifting again that sometimes you lose your insight and oversight, obviously with authorities. You hope for the best, but it doesn't always happen. I probably will be a yes next week, but just for the next 7 or so days, I just want to marinate a little bit more. So I'm a maybe leaning yes.
Yeah, I think one thing that when we talk about data sharing as well, that from the law enforcement side of things, we are still guided by Michigan, the Michigan State Police standards of sharing data, the FBIC just requirements. And we are also, even though the authority, we're still responsible to our communities we serve as well, who have approved us to be a part of this authority. So while I want you to have the confidence to know that this data is not going to be used inappropriately. It's going to be used in the same way. It's just taking the lift off of the Oakland County, I guess, fiscally for the shortfalls that we continue to do. So from our perspective, I know my township would have never allowed us to do it if they felt this data or we would inappropriately use it to be a front runner.
Yeah, in addition, just, you know, when you sign on, like when you sign on to the Michigan State Police and you're running a warrant or something, it warns you, like, don't misuse this.
Yeah.
It's the same thing. We have a sign on, it's all in red when you go to sign on to your Clemus platform, and it warns you on there as an officer, an individual officer, whether you're in corrections or road or anything. It tells you if you misuse this, these are penalties that you could, you know, undertake. And we enforce that. And we get a hold of them if we think there's something wrong and say, check the audit log and see what happened here. Did this guy get in? Did he do this to that? So we do have a very robust audit log and we make sure we're on top of that, so.
Thank you, I like that.
Okay, thank you, Your Honor. Chairman.
And I can attest to it. We had an officer that came to our block party in our own city, and I was just to show everybody, like, you can run me. And the officer was like, no, I can't. And I was like, can I sign something, give you permission to run me? And he's like, nope, there's a screen that comes up. I can't run you unless I'm pulling you over. And I'm like, no, thank you. 2 questions, and because we've got a representative, I mean, now it's the sheriff's office, but I mean, 2 excellent police departments. Talking with your peers, and Clemus is without question one of the crown jewels in terms of sharing information to investigate and hopefully prevent crimes. What is the general sentiment of the other public agencies out there about moving to this authority structure from where we are currently today?
So they're excited. They're concerned about the cost, if there's gonna be a cost increase because of the move, but there was going to be cost increase if we didn't move. So it's imperative, and the chiefs are all, we had a meeting with all the Clemus members a year and a half ago, 2 years ago, and we talked about all of these issues that you guys are talking about, and about the fee structure and how we as police departments and as Clemus can keep the price effective and efficient for each member. Because if the price goes up, what happens is public safety suffers, and if the price goes up, we may have to drop an officer because we're paying for Clemus instead of paying for the officer. So the chiefs of police in Southeast Michigan and the sheriffs are excited because we're trying to do our due diligence and are doing our due diligence for the fee structure. So and they are excited that it's going to keep or rise not substantially. It's gonna be a low rise, and this authority allows us, Clemus, to the authority allows us to do that.
And Bo, can you speak to the current cost structure per officer for Clemus versus a competitor?
Yeah, absolutely. And, you know, many communities within our footprint average less than 25 officers. They can't afford large systems really in the private sector. I consider us as a Clemus consortium really a backstop to provide data solutions and records and obviously data sharing. If you take a look at a community like Pleasant Ridge, you know, they can't afford anything else. But they see a lot of traffic through the community, through Woodward. So the activities that they through the community is shared with Ferndale, Oakland County Sheriff's Office, Royal Oak, and et cetera. So for them, it's extremely important. And on average, we are more than basically, I would say less than 1/3 of the cost of anything that's close to what
Can
Clemus
you give
provides.
us prices versus?
Yeah, absolutely. So, you know, on average, I think the pricing for solutions in the private sector, typically call it $1,000 to $2,000 dollars per officer per year. We're, you know, basically about 1/3 of that, right? So less than $500 per officer per year. But not just providing one application, but we provide over 20 different applications that officers and deputies need. So that includes crash reports, includes records management systems, dispatch systems. So if you think about, I would say the 911 centers that we support nearly 60 911 call centers or dispatch operations, which covers close to 40% of the population for the state of Michigan. So the residents of the great state of Michigan, and obviously Oakland County, depend on Clemus. I think 100% of all 911 call centers or dispatch centers in Oakland County depends on Clemus. So that is a very, very critical service. And obviously we are at a price point that we can be affordable because we are going to be now a government entity as well as a future government entity. We can't make a profit, and you know that is not our prerogative. Our prerogative is to be the best solution at the lowest cost possible, and to really help public safety in that mission.
And there's a real belief that Clemus, the authority, and Cam Snyder, or the two chiefs here can jump in on this, is that this really affords Clemus as an authority to start helping fight the issues of human trafficking along the 94 corridor and the 75 corridor. We're not just talking Michigan, we're talking Lexington, Kentucky, we're talking down to Atlanta, we're talking Florida. Anthony, do you want to speak to that?
Yeah, we're seeing a lot of traffic for a lot of different crimes, but human trafficking as well, coming straight up from Miami all the way to Sault Ste. Marie, or going from Detroit, Chicago to Detroit, right? So usually it's guns, money, and drugs, but in this case, it's also human trafficking. So you kind of lose something when you have people coming from Miami and they're going all the way up 75 and they make it through Toledo and then they get into the state of Michigan. If you have an agency that isn't part of that, then when we run the guy, there's no record. Well, there's no record for him in Clemus maybe, but there's a record all the way down. So the goal is to obviously pick up a lot of the agencies along there and down 94 so that in the future, as you have these people running whatever they're running, you're gonna be able to get a hit on them and say, well, listen, Chicago says, and I talked to Chicago 2 weeks ago, they love it. If they have him, we need to know that because all of a sudden he's in Detroit. Why is he in Detroit? He lives in Chicago. Well, he's not visiting, there's more going on there. Same thing from the south. So it's really an instrumental thing to be able to have something like this for data sharing. And like we said, it's the largest in the country. It's been the largest in the country, started in 1968, and there's nobody else out there. So when you go to other areas of the country and you talk about Clemus, they're dumbfounded. They're like, really? And like, yeah, this is big. 200 and some odd, agencies all in one, sharing that information and having that at your fingertips to help solve crime. It's phenomenal.
Just go ahead.
Just so, Commissioner Woodward, the chiefs and the agencies are excited. Who's most excited are the men and women who are pushing the patrol cars every day. The most important aspects of any of our police departments is that we have not modernized or we status quo'd since, I can't speak the technical terms of anything, but we're operating on pre-2000, if Bo would correct me, operating systems behind the scenes, which really limits some of those vendors and things that we could actually bring in to help us save the money. If you call a 911 center in Southeast Michigan, just about every piece of that phone outside the phone system itself, but it's connected to, it touches a Clemus application. And that goes from the time of the phone call coming in to the time of the booking to the time of the courts. So pretty much our entire system in this county and stretching outside touches some part of Clemus, that we would have to individualize had we not. And go into not keeping it at this, if we go to a private vendor, we lose control of our data, right? We can control what is out there. It goes to a third-party vendor, who knows what they sell to. So that authority, I would like to think for the long run will have the best interests of our residents and communities.
And I will say, so just one more thing, I'm the chair of the Clemus Advisory Board. So I speak to a lot of the participants, and there were zero that came to me and said, if you guys switch to this authority, we're leaving. They all said, thank you for making this happen and keeping the costs low and doing what you guys need to do to ensure that this program is sustainable.
And just, I mean, two points related to that. And I think hearing from, and I know both of you, I mean, the chiefs here and Captain have been very involved in participating, supporting, providing support to Clemus. But hearing that law enforcement is embracing this transition to support the modernization means a lot to me. The other, the thing in terms of like making sure that we have like public participation, and you wrote that with technology, the one thing that I do know is that the costs don't ever go down. And to have, I mean, each participant will be a member of the board, to be part of that process, like this is what this costs.
Not an advisory committee, part of the board.
Part of the board, I know that every member community, part of the board, going through the process, someone who's spent some time pricing out costs of services, to have the leadership of our law enforcement agencies being part of that process that says this is what it costs and this is what we need and we've collectively agreed to that we need, I think adds a level of trust that's absolutely critical to price this appropriately so that it's as affordable and also achieves the modernization that's happening is critical. And so I think I'm very comfortable knowing that the governing body, as laid out in these in the authority, that the participants are part of the board. You've got a very strong executive committee. We've got the leadership that's present here. I have complete confidence that they will make the appropriate decisions that's necessary to take Clemus to the next level, to be the tool that's that we're all proud of and an incredible tool for keeping Oakland County and the region safe.
Thank you. Commissioner Powell. Well, I'd like to say, since we have the local sheriffs here, are you also, and you brought up human trafficking, are you considering being a part of the Oakland County transactional, where we have
Cross-jurisdictional task force.
Jurisdictional, I can't get the word out. Are you willing to be a part of that?
For a lot of the agencies, it's gonna depend on manpower and
Yes.
the bodies on the road, right? And I think talking to the majority of the agencies who have either hotels or areas where that's in, everybody's interested. We just came from our net advisory board meeting now, and that was one of the questions I specifically asked with the intel that they're providing on the drug heat maps. Is there a way to overlay those to see our drug heat maps matching our human trafficking maps? Because so many of us already do support the sheriff's department, or they support us in many ways. We're lucky to have a sheriff that doesn't say no to local agencies that really benefits all communities. And if there's ways we can do it and our communities will benefit from it, we're all ears. We can't make promises, and that comes from some of our boards ourselves, but to have this opportunity it's a problem in all of our communities. It touches all of us.
Very much appreciated, thank you. Any other comments or questions? Okay. Could we prompt the vote, please?
I don't understand. So that's,
You have 6 yeas, 1 nay.
Motion passes. Thank you for recommendation to the board. Thank you very much. Okay, thank you again. Next, we have our items F, G, H, I, J, and K are all sponsorships. We can take those all as one. Okay, moved by Commissioner Woodward, supported by Commissioner Galt. Are there any questions or? Okay, would you prompt for the vote, please?
You guys don't know what you're voting on?
No, wait.
Where are we? Sorry.
So these are the department
Recommendations, these are the sponsorship for the department
You had to get a
recommendations.
motion.
Yep, I got a motion from, it was moved by Commissioner Woodward, supported by Commissioner Galt, for us to undertake all of these at one time,
Okay.
F through K.
F through K.
And then the sheriff's office will go right after that.
Thank you.
I have an old agenda apparently.
Which I can read each one, and normally I do, but you want me to read each one?
No, I don't
Okay.
think you need to.
All right. Ready for the vote?
Yeah.
And as we're voting, I'll just remind commissioners that these will still have to go through the contracting process. And so we'll see a couple of these even come back to the finance committee, specifically the historical commission one and society. Commissioner Markham has asked that that contract be approved by the finance committee before being adopted, so.
Okay.
Okay, you have 6 yeas, 0 no's.
Thank you, everyone. Next, we have our public health and safety recommendations. First being the amendment number 1 to 2025-2027 Law Enforcement Services Agreement with the Charter Township of Lyon. All of these are from the Sheriff's Department. Do we wanna take, I mean, they'll explain each one separately, but we can take them all at the same time. So can I have a recommendation or motion?
So moved.
Support, it was moved by Commissioner Spitz, supported by Commissioner Powell to take all these up at one time, so. You have,
Good morning. Still,
good
afternoon, sorry, afternoon.
Did you bring lunch?
Gail Pierce, Sheriff Fiscal Officer, and I have Major Russ Geiser with me today. So the first item is amendment number 1 to the Law Enforcement Services Agreement with Lyon Township. So they're just making a couple changes. They'd like to reclassify a detective sergeant to a patrol sergeant. And then they're adding 2 SRO positions, which were deleted when they signed the original contract when the new rates and contracts came out. So they're just reinstating those 2 positions. The next item is amendment number 2 to the agreement with OCHN for the Jail Alliance with Support Program. That program provides mental health support to inmates in the jail. And this continues funding for fiscal year 26 for 1 full-time eligible inmate casework position. Unfortunately, OCHN did have to make some budget cuts, so it deletes 2 part-time non-eligible positions, inmate caseworkers that also work in this program. The third and last item is amendment number 2 to the agreement with OCHN, and this is for the FY26 MAT program, which is medicated assisted treatment. It helps with people with opioid disorders coming into the jail. This funds 60% of a inmate casework specialist position, and it handles in-county residents. The other 40% of the position is paid for by the opioid settlement fund, and that handles out-county residents. So we're asking for your support on those 3 items today.
Commissioner.
Yeah, and just like on that last point, the policy decision was, like, we've got people coming into our jail, even though the opioid settlement dollars come into Oakland County, they're in our jail. OCHN, with the funds that they were using, weren't allowed to use it on non-resident individuals, which is one question I've always asked. I get that you might not reside in Oakland County, but once you enter the jail, aren't you a resident?
You certainly are.
And so I've been telling OCHN that you should change, you have now become a resident until you leave. So I pressed them to kind of look at that further, and that would free up those other dollars, but I think that was the right policy decision, making sure everyone is getting the appropriate treatment.
And that's a technicality where Corp Counsel said you cannot treat people differently, and so we had to.
I'm battling
had to do
Corp
the-
Counsel,
Yes, had to do the, make up the difference there and treat them all the same, so.
Yeah.
Commissioner Smith Charles.
Oh, we voted, yeah, okay. I know what they stuff on the, yeah.
Okay, got a chance to listen to some of this yesterday via YouTube.
How'd we look?
Great, and you all sounded capable, ready. Just curious, well, not curious, I just wanna shout out, I feel remiss because I can't think of her name.
Captain McClellan.
Captain McClellan.
Yeah, Captain McClellan. She taught a masterclass yesterday. Like, people need to go back to the YouTube about this JAWS thing and just the importance of it. And I appreciate your comments too, just because you were like, you know, there's people behind me who need money. So I'm just making sure, I mean, we wanna do all things for all people. We know this and we know that we can't, unfortunately. And so, this JAWS program or these other items, there's sustainability with or without us, or it's like dead in the water. Gosh, the puns today about JAWS, sorry y'all. But no, from your perspective, is this program dead in the water? If we don't support it annually, continually, because of the supports needed for mental health in our jails? But there's crew, I heard them asking for resources. So just asking like, is this comprehensive? Is this one-off? Whoever gets to us first gets the money. Certainly supportive of it. I'm just asking for any key takeaways. Maybe that's more of a fiscal question, but can we afford it?
Our chairman will respond.
Well, so this becomes a big question around mental health services. We know the demand's here, the resources are here. And frankly, there's a tremendous amount of uncertainty coming out of Lansing right now. And I think there's probably an argument to say the resources are even less in the near future. I think there is a serious conversation that has to happen in the state and how we're going to fund mental health needs, because as it was talked about yesterday, that our jail in many cases is a housing of a mental health need. And OCHN, I had the opportunity to talk with the CEO just yesterday, and they are going through their process of trying to weather these economic storms. And so these positions were funded through OCHN. They have to make some serious choices. They are trying to squeeze out everything they possibly can to stretch their dollars even further, and looking at how they spend their dollars to have maximum impact. I believe it's 60,000 individuals that they provide some level of service to, and how do they maintain it, because they know that the answer is we can't stop doing it. So the short answer is that we need to figure out a long-term solution and how to do it. I think as it relates to this, the position maintains one full-time rate. So continue to support the program with the resources through OCHN on that, and then add our representatives on OCHN, and I also talked to the board chair and the CEO, what is our 5-year plan to be able to better meet this need? And we might need, I think there's a statewide conversation, there's arguably a regional conversation on how we need to do it, because the dollars are going the wrong direction when the need is going in the opposite.
Thank you, Chair.
Thank you. Any other? Nope. Okay, hearing none. Would you please prompt the vote for 9A, B, and C?
We have 7 yeas, 0 nays.
Thank you.
Thank you for your support.
Thank you. That brings us to section 10, which is our Legislative Affairs and Government Operations Committee recommendations. First is our 2025 Supplemental Collective Bargaining Agreement for employees represented by the United Auto Workers, Local 889, representing Department of Information Technology. We also have actually A, B, C, D, E.
The last one by itself.
Okay, so all of those are regarding the collective bargaining agreements. Do we want to address all of those at the same time, since?
I'll move that.
Okay.
Support.
Okay, it's been moved by Commissioner Erickson Galt and supported by Commissioner Smith Charles to discuss and recommend A, B, C, D, and E, all of the bargaining agreements at the same time. That's a lot. Okay, who's gonna be?
They're walking in just a second.
Oh, okay.
Sorry about that.
Okay.
Double step it.
We can, we could jump to item F if we want to, while they're coming in. Item F is the fiscal year 2026 salary recommendations for non-representative employees. I'll make, the motion is moved by Commissioner Galt, supported by Commissioner Powell.
Good afternoon.
Thank
Thank you for having this. Heather Mason, Manager of Human Resources. Yesterday at Legislative Affairs and Government Operations, they approved to refer or pass the county executive's recommended 4% general salary increase for non-represented employees, which will cover non-represented full-time, part-time, seasonal, student, hourly. It does not, however, cover the Board of Commissioners, which, as you'll recall, last year, the commissioners set their increases, annual increases for 26, 27, and 28 to be equal to the inflation rate multiplier as adopted by the State of Michigan Tax Commission. It does not cover the judges of the circuit, district, and probate court, as those are currently at the maximum allowed by statute. It does not cover the road commission members, which is at the pleasure of the board. And the county executive does not make a recommendation on the increase to be awarded to the other elected officials, which would be the county clerk, register of deeds, the county executive, the county treasurer, prosecutor, sheriff, and water resources commissioner. And this is just a reminder that the Board of Commissioners should bring forth something before December to address that. If there's any questions, I'm happy to answer.
Commissioners? Commissioner Spitz?
Madam Chair, quick question. Thank you for putting the summary chart in here on the last 10 years and all the different representative and non-representative what they're receiving. I'm assuming in this chart, it doesn't include the ones that we're voting on today. It says open. I'm assuming those are.
Correct, it does
Okay.
not.
That's what I thought. So my question is, there's two that for 26 were at 4%. Actually, one it's 4% if you count non-representative. So the sheriff corrections officer and the office road are only at 4%. Everybody else is at 5%.
So
Do they have a Me Too clause in theirs?
They are not, their contract goes through 2026, so they'll be coming forward with a new contract
Okay,
next
so
year.
they're at the last year of their contract.
Yes,
Alright.
they adopted the general salary increase under a Me Too for this.
Okay, so then my question is, why would we give the non-representative 4% where everybody else that's represented got 5%?
I'm going to.
No, I wasn't.
Hi there. So we had this question yesterday in Lago too.
Yeah, I figured.
And I appreciate the opportunity to offer some context. So with collectively bargained groups, right, they set their own priorities. They make their own requests. Through that process, we arrive where we arrive. And for the non-union, we look at total compensation and the entirety of the package. And I think when you stack up the packages, there is equity across the board. The one thing that I would highlight, for example, is for IBEW, which you'll be hearing about momentarily, that group taken in total is the lowest wage earner. So a total average salary of $59,500. So you compare that to the average of non-union, which is at $94,500. 5% of $59,500 is different from 4% of $94,500. So the math does math out in terms of total dollar amounts and the total compensation package. And then there are other, variables there as well. But when we look at the total compensation, and we really do get on a granular level, looking at benefits, compensation, different forms of compensation to look at that total compensation package, we are absolutely comfortable that there is equity in those packages, and that when you look at them in their entirety, we're comfortable and confident in the recommendation.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. Any other questions? Hearing none.
I'm sorry, Madam Chair. The 10-year history, I'm just making sure I understand, those decimal points are percentages.
Which
The 10-year history of adopted general salary increases. I don't know if you have it like we do.
this one?
Yeah.
Mine's a little less
Oh, okay.
wordy,
Oh,
thankfully.
the first
Oh, you're looking
one.
at the green, the green, yeah, that one.
Yeah, the green.
Yes.
What are the decimal points telling me? Is that a percent?
Yes, so if you look at for 2025, the general non-represented was actually a 2.4% general salary increase.
Got it.
So anywhere there's a zero, it was a flat percentage.
Thank you. And I think that was it, Madam Chair. Thank you.
Thank you. May I add, sorry, yesterday Dan was kind enough to throw in another point of interest on the difference between the 5% and the 4%. Non-union employees also don't pay union dues. So that is a bit of an offset as well.
But you choose, I won't get into that debate.
Thank you. Seeing none, no other discussion or question. Would you please prompt the vote for item F?
7 yeas, 0 nays?
Thank you.
Thank you.
Recommend to the board. Next, we will have our item 10A through E. All of the bargaining unit.
Madam Chair, since that's already been moved and all that, and they're walking to the front, the last item where they said the board needs to do something by December, is that on our radar already, or do we need to
Yes,
make a special note?
Yes.
Yes.
Board chair is fully aware, I'm sure.
We're fully aware, and I just wanna make sure that the electeds, the countywide electeds are aware. Let me know if they return your phone calls.
Thank you. Would you please?
Come on, come on. Oh, don't be shy.
Bargaining unit. Don't be shy.
Appreciate it.
We're gonna take them all in order. So
Yeah.
All at once.
all at once.
So go one,
Okay.
one.
Fair enough. So yesterday I presented a very lengthy, I believe, winded discussion on this subject yesterday. I don't really want to punish the board a second time, 2 days in a row. The items are before you, we'll begin, I suppose, with the supplement. You guys have heard me indicate what occurs in these supplements. The one unique one, this talking about the UAW one first, with the employees. There's the only uniqueness that differs from this one as opposed to any other one is there are some vehicles that are going to be assigned. They are already assigned to these employees, but we're just confirming them in the contract. That's the UAW supplement. The rest of these are the new contracts. So is it okay if I just dive into those as well? Okay. So we provided summaries to this body. I'm happy to take any questions that you may have on it. I think that they kind of do speak for themselves with respect to the wages and the increases. The one item I do want to just very briefly point out, it's a very small group. It's the medical the prosecutors, investigators. That group their contract is retro to October the 1st. Of last year, 2024, because they've been working without a contract. Other than that, I think everything else is relatively straightforward. I also do appreciate and want to recognize that the IBEW is present. I just want to point out the negotiation is very collaborative and supportive. I appreciate them as partners, appreciate you being here. I also want to point out that you guys see me here at these meetings regularly, but you don't often see my team, and I just want to take a moment to recognize them and for all of their hard work. These could not be done without that. There's a great staff back at the EOB that helps put all of this together, so I just wanted to point that out and recognize them as well. But any questions, I am more than happy to hear it, and thank you for taking this in the order that you took it. I apologize.
No, thank you. Commissioners, do we have any questions?
He answered mine.
Okay. Commissioner Smith Charles.
With these grades and class titles, if a position isn't filled, I think there's been conversation about some departments just habitually keep a position, maybe they'll have like 90 positions. We're not gonna fill those this year. Are those reflected in there? This may not even be a bargaining question, now that I think about it, but I just was curious, are those dollar amounts for those salaries captured in the budget? For example, like let's say we don't have a 911 county coordinator step 1 person, but it's a position. Does that Does that look
Yeah.
favorable or?
We budget for my understanding, and feel free to jump in, we budget for the position, not for the humans in the position. So if they're, like you said, 90 open vacancies, but only 45 humans in those, we budget for 90.
Okay.
And we have to.
For all year too, right?
Yes, for all year, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
Anyone else? Okay, hearing none, would you please prompt the vote?
This for all of them, right?
Yes.
That's
Seven yeas, 0 nays.
Motion passes.
Yes, he started
Hey,
again.
I was instructed to keep it brief today. I hope that I have accomplished that. My only regret is I don't have a video.
Next time.
No one will believe you.
Don't forget to be bright too.
That's for another day.
Thank you very much.
Thank you so much for your time. Good luck on your heavy agenda.
Next, we're at our budget wrap-up.
Can I request like a 5-minute recess?
Absolutely.
You bringing in lunch, is that why you're doing this?
No, I mean,
Okay.
Commissioner White brought that.
We will
No, I just
have-
got 2 quick things, gotta make.
We will have a 5-minute recess.
We might hit
Commissioners, we're ready to reconvene this meeting of the Finance Committee. Next, we will be taking up our budget wrap-up. Our first item for 11A is the fiscal year 2026 through 2028 Oakland County recommended budget. May I have a motion? It's been moved by Commissioner Powell, supported by Commissioner Spiz. All in favor?
Then we go to the amendments.
I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, sorry.
Whoa. I'm sorry.
I was fast.
Now I'll need a motion
Here I
to
go.
amend
I'm like, oh.
section A, the amendments made pursuant to adoption by separate resolution. May I have a motion? Moved by Commissioner Powell, supported by Commissioner
If I can speak to it, and we have Fiscal here that can go into greater detail. This is consistent with our normal process. These are all resolutions that have been adopted since the recommended budget was presented to us July 1. And so it is incorporated, making those appropriate changes so that the budget for next year reflects those things. If people have questions, I don't know if Fiscal wants to elaborate further. I think it's pretty self-explanatory.
Great question.
Any other questions or comments?
Yes.
No, these are all things we already approved, right?
What?
It's pretty straightforward.
Good job. Let's prompt the vote.
One down.
One down.
I'm hungry. Well, I could go backwards.
No, let's prompt the vote for section A.
Section A.
Great.
Career kids.
Yo-yo? Okay, she getting over it. Told you had to coffee.
Disagree.
Next we have.
Gershenson.
Oh, Gershon.
Or Gershenson.
Yes.
And then we'll wait for the. There's 7 yeas, 0 nays. Amendment passes. Next, we recognize section B, which is the human resources related amendments. Commissioner Booker. When moved, is it supported by Commissioner? Any questions? Oh, I thought there might be a presentation. There isn't? Okay.
Well, I did want to make sure I let all you know, I do have actual physical copies if you would like one. Yep, I'll bring them around and then.
And I do want to say thank you to Brent. He did an excellent job, but we had commented, we have old eyes and we needed a little bit bigger. So he ran it on the larger print, and he even hand wrote in some of the things that we needed. So thank you very much for that.
Just so you're aware, there is an updated version, so you'll see my little scribble at the very bottom. If you want the updated version, it is online.
Hey Brent, make sure, get that ready, board side, you got one, board side, let's get the commissioners first.
Yep.
You're the one that's voting first. Alright.
No, they said they're separate.
Thank you.
Commissioner Powell, do you have yours?
Yep, I do. All right.
Okay, Chair?
I'm good.
He's got them memorized.
Anybody?
I can zoom in on my screen.
Well.
I just know that we need larger laptops. Now that we.
Commissioners, are there any
Turn it
questions?
sideways.
Okay.
I think these are.
All right. We're gonna continue.
And
Any questions or
yeah,
Commissioner?
so these are a human resources recommended amendments as a result of other personnel stuff and the conversations that happened. I don't know if there's any additional things to elaborate.
I'm sorry, if I didn't hear this, I just wanna make sure that people know that some of the things that are on the schedule A, B, or C is really kind of, well, B and C particularly is because of the budget hearing process that came through. So, for example, I just wanna say under the Water Resource Commissioner, you know, the county recommended budget came over, it's like no 13 positions, whatever. During the hearing process, we actually agreed to it, then, so therefore, it has to be then incorporated into that. So the baseline was what was submitted to you dated July 1st. Therefore, Brent and the team has essentially made sure that all those things that were captured or you heard are incorporated either in B and C. So I just wanna make sure that we heard you. If there's something you have a point of clarity, we will be more happy to do that. Please note that this is the summary. And then there's behind there in your packet, you should have essentially the detail on each of these items that are essentially the whatever you wanna call it, the true Schedule Bs or C, that's got the account codes. So, but this is really kind of the high level for you to tick off, like, yep, this is what I thought about the WRC, this is what I thought about some other program, okay? That's fine.
Thank you for that.
Okay.
Now Commissioner Woodward. Oh, you didn't have.
Good, I said what I had to say.
Okay. Any other? Okay, let's prompt the vote for Section B, Human Resources Related Amendments.
Two down.
Hey now.
There's 7 yeas, 0 nays.
7 yeas, 0 nays.
It's over there.
I'm proud of
Next,
you,
I'll need-
Speeds, I'm proud of you.
Next, I need a motion for Section C, Finance Committee Recommended Amendments. Moved by Commissioner Gershenson, supported by Commissioner Powell. Okay. You have the floor. Commissioner Woodward?
Yeah, so let me, again, I want to commend not only this committee, but fiscal and all the budget hearings, and as Mr. Leffler mentioned, that a lot of the amendments in item C have been items that have come up as a result of those budget hearings. In some cases have been priorities that commissioners have brought forward. I want to bring attention to some things that I know was raised or came up other hearings, or we want to make sure are addressed, and they are addressed in these amendments. First off, from a kind of government operations perspective, we had needs because of the situation of the docket in 52nd 4 in Troy, and a docket judge has been relieved of her docket, caused pressure to have that docket met. Judge Reed has been filling that. We are going to be rolling over unused visiting judge dollars from this current fiscal year to the next fiscal year and monitor that. And if there's additional need to add money to it as the year proceeds, we will do so. But they will have the resources in place to help support that. Next, dollars and resources for digitization of public access and preservation that the clerk, brought attention. Fiscal has, worked and laid out a process in which the clerk will bring back a comprehensive plan, working with appropriate stakeholders to ensure that we can do that. And so those dollars have been identified and will come back before this board to be approved. A conversation about leveraging some grant programs. Currently, many of you know the MEDC has the Public Spaces Community Places Initiative, and using that to help support placemaking across the entire county. Assigning some dollars to be used for that. Obviously, that's going to be contingent, assuming that those dollars remain in place with this budget. But this will help lower the need that the local community has to raise in order to maximize match, with the goal of supporting up to 20 projects across the county. There is interest in being able to continue to support student debt reduction efforts. We've got an agreement. We've had a very successful enrollment of employees as well as residents of Oakland County into the Savvy program, saving on average $1,700 a year per person who enrolls. I think that there is a desire to want to help support, encourage new people to enroll, and then let the market take its place. Like if there's value, then people will continue to use the service. Pledging another $150,000, up to $150,000 this year, next fiscal year for new enrollees, and with the goal of hoping to increase upwards of 50% more participation. I think we have just shy of 3,000 people enrolled currently, so supporting another 1,500 as well as some dollars to support promoting that the board will work with the Office of Public Communication to help support going forward. From an environmental perspective, adding capacity to our weekly beach sampling program. Oakland County's got more lakes than any other county. And based on capacity, they make a decision to use the dollars they have. Adding funds to be able to support all, I believe 200 additional public beaches around the county to check for E. coli and other things from a public health perspective. And housing being one of the top things that have been identified not only at this board. We've had tremendous success. We talk regularly about the 700 new units of housing that the Oakland County Housing Trust Fund has already supported. This amendment adds another $1.3 million on top of the dollars that we have structurally helping support it. So it's more than a 50% increase in supporting the Oakland County Housing Trust Fund, with the goal of looking long-term to figure out how we can add more. We know that we've got a long ways to go in order to meet the need of affordable housing for our community, and this is a big step forward, building on what already is one of the greatest, as well as the largest housing trust fund on a county level in the state. Next, related to housing is helping seniors be able to repair the housing repair program. A recognition that we have a very robust program, very successful, that has to follow HUD guidelines because the lion's share of those dollars come through HUD. This is to add a little bit of flexibility to our housing department if someone is within 10% of the HUD qualifications, clearly still low income, but these dollars, we're going to test it out for the year and see how many more people can get, whether it's roof repair and other types of important housing improvements, and basically run the same program but using dollars that are not encumbered by the strict HUD income qualifications. In addition to that, recognizing progress as it relates to the homelessness blueprint that Oakland County had commissioned, working with our housing department, identified really two things that believe are necessary to help as we go into the winter to bulk up funding for emergency housing shelter, for temporary shelters in the coldest weeks of the year. The department had already identified about a little over $100,000 to support emergency shelter, emergency short-term shelters. This is adding an additional $200,000, so they have a slightly more than they had last year to meet that need. I think it makes a lot of sense to make certain that people have a warm place to go in these cold months. In addition to creating an Oakland Connects housing coordinator position to help build capacity, working with our other agencies, and frankly, potentially being able to be eligible for Medicaid reimbursement for eligible services that this position could do. Next up, also in the public, health space. Let me go to public safety. Things that have come up through, again, the budget hearings, recognizing some of the fiscal challenges that are placed in some of our communities, extending our one-time payment support of the co-responder program in Madison Heights, Hazel Park, Ferndale, and Royal Oak for another year to give those communities a little bit more of a runway to be able to honor their commitment to fully staff our the two co-responder positions that are where every law enforcement agency there and the local community leaders recognize the importance of, gives them a little bit longer runway to be able to meet that financial obligation. The crisis response unit, I think people in public health and safety, as well as this committee, heard the presentation of what this 3-team member does. And so we are, in the grant that was not renewed, we're gonna put up 6 months to continue this and work with the sheriff's office to continue to seek new funds, but also if new grant funds can't be achieved, how are we going to be able to continue to fund this long term? So putting up 6 months of that so that the program can continue while we take the 6 months to figure out and resolve that. We identified some funding for a sheriff safety enhanced fund. This is a conversation We have a number of large community events in Oakland County. This is a great thing. One way that they're successful is that we have the appropriate law enforcement support to do that, and I call these like kind of a community common to all asset. And I get great feedback from our local law enforcement leaders. So thankful for not only the equipment, the tools, the personnel to help support this. This is a way that we're gonna start monitoring the overtime costs associated with those things, and the Sheriff's Office agreed to give regular reports back on how those funds are being used. Everything from the big events like Woodward Dream Cruise, also to presidential visits and anything that requires the Sheriff's Office to add additional personnel that's outside the normal things that their office does. And then last but not least, I want to the creation, well, the funding of the sheriff position as part of the human trafficking task force. We addressed, I think, the prosecutor stuff and previous resolution. I know the prosecutor office moved some of their things around their budget to add capacity in their office. This is the funding stream to help support the sheriff position that's playing a coordinating role for law enforcement.
Just a quick question, tri-party, bi-party, where do we put that in?
I think in the GAA, right?
The GAA historically, so
Yes.
that's gonna be where it will be.
I know we
At the
always
2
handle-
million, yeah, the
we
2
always
million.
handle them separately, so I just didn't see
Yeah,
it.
exactly, yeah, sorry, yes, an assignment, and we go through our normal process.
Commissioner Smith Charles?
Thank you, Chair. Appreciate the opportunity to.
There are other things too on my list, but those are the things I wanted to lift up that have
Yeah.
been talked about a lot.
Oh, okay. I was just gonna say, I appreciate the caucusing last Friday to kind of share some of this
In advance, yeah.
in advance. But I just was wondering, am I missing a document? Like you guys got cool, colorful
This one?
PDF spreadsheets and stuff?
That was the document that was shared at caucus on Friday.
Okay, then, cause I was like, just trying to make sure I was keeping up with all of the things that you were saying.
Yeah, and there's some modifications there, like we started at a higher amount for the Housing Trust Fund and just of available dollars and sources of what we're doing that went from 2 million to 1.3. We reduced the Savvy contribution to focus on new accounts rather than sustaining existing accounts.
Okay.
Those are really the two. And then I think there's been a slight modification in the crisis response unit to account for the unmarked vehicles that are part of that.
Okay.
Very good, Chair.
Thank you.
Anyone else? Hearing no other questions, can we prompt the vote? I'm sorry. Yes, I'm right. I will prompt the vote for section.
Statistics are right.
That's part of the amendment.
You have 7 yeas, 0 nays.
Thank you. Now, can we prompt the vote for the fiscal budget as amended?
Such an amazing time in our county's history. Yeah, and then we hit the button.
7 yeas, 0 nays.
Gotta hit the button one more time.
7 yeas, 0 nays. This will all go to full board.
Well, and if I may, again, I said it at the top of this, the amount of hours that those who serve in finance spent going department by department and looking at things and identifying things that we've made adjustments for. My hat tips to you. The world might not fully recognize, but it literally added to a process that I think is gonna best position us to meet public health, public safety, and critical needs of residents of Essex County. So thank you all.
Thank you. Commissioner Gervis.
And as someone who's not on the finance committee, but who did attend the budget hearings, I thought it was incredible. It was one of the best exchanges of information between the departments and us and having your whole team there was really great because we could answer the questions right then and there. So I feel that we put more time into this budget and it was more inclusive. the meeting on Friday was really great. And, you know, I would encourage the Republican caucus to join us a little bit earlier in your asks, because we really want to work together. This isn't like the national Democratic Republican,
Well, that's fair comment.
I really feel that we could work much closer, and we want to.
I mean, in the end, I think we did.
Well, we did,
I mean,
but
to
you
be
know, when you
fair-
said to me yesterday, we have 12, I was like,
So to be fair, I knew you were having a caucus, but the only reason I knew that is because I went and looked at the schedule. If I wouldn't looked at it, I wouldn't have known you guys were having a caucus to discuss this, so to me, it's a two-way street on conversation, say, hey, we're having this conversation, you guys bring anything to the table.
well, I'll be
Now's the
sure
time.
and work on it.
That's fair.
Thank you.
So I had my list for a while.
Commissioner Smith Charles and then.
Okay, we might be jiving off the same thing, but I too want to thank Fiscal, thank Commissioner Markham, Commissioner Taylor, the executive team of the board, so like you guys and all that kind of stuff for listening. Every year it seems like a new experience, and one highlight that I'll take away is when I was watching the YouTube, which I do, I guess that's a theme, the fiscal team, it seemed like more of them than actual committee members, like the way they were assembled all in the back row like that, it looked like a telethon, like all their screens were on, phones.
Trust me, I'm dialing for dollars.
So I like it in that room, you know, just for the purposes of everything, and just feel like we did a yeoman's job this year, and appreciate even Commissioner Spiz. Notice I put even. Commissioner Spiz's participation was well needed, and I appreciate it.
Thank you. Commissioner Powell?
I was gonna also say, I've been on finance since I became a commissioner. And I feel like this year was probably the best year. And you all, even with our wishes, your team was able to let us down nicely in the most professional manner, but it was very inclusive. And you all just worked with us, even just explaining things like to a T. I know I still gotta get my side meeting with y'all to understand even more, but this whole process was really, really, really appreciative, and I so thank you all. And you all are a dynamic group of individuals, especially your leaders. So thank you too, because we cackle and talk all the time. So I just thank you for always being available too with all our questions we needed to get answers or clarity as well. And I thought that was really cool when we were in the board and they're all back there. It was like they guns ready. Who got questions and what's gonna happen? So thank you for having them there as well.
Including health, I mean,
Oh, yeah.
all the departments were.
Yeah, and that was new too. And the good thing is a lot of the departments and team, I've heard good feedback, you know, and even when it was a misunderstanding, y'all still was able to work everything out. So I just appreciate that as well. Thank you.
And I would like to jump thanking also our team and Mike especially for all the amendments and changes and everything.
Oh, no,
So
we're
thank you to
very-
the department, but also Mikey's and.
Oh, yeah, no. Our department know we love them. They know we
That's
are
so
loved
true.
by our
Thank you, Barbara. You're-
Thanks,
well,
Barbara.
Thank you all. Thank you.
Thank you, Michael.
Michael.
If I may, I just want to thank you all. I mean, we do have a great team over at Fiscal. Even as you're probably saying, we're still trying to move forward, but even on the items here, you do see, I think it's line item 30-something, where it's a business continuity program. It's i.e. is like we're trying to change a culture of here, we have to be proactive. And prior to coming to the finance hearings is that we had heard from all the departments, but the people that are on that side is not only we relied on HR again last year to be there to answer those questions. This year we brought procurement. We're trying to be proactive so that we're trying to get into the budget what's going on in the next few years. I just need the awareness, not saying that no, but as people know me, I'll ask a lot of questions and wanting to make sure I understand the context. And also too, I appreciate trying to reduce silos so that we're all on the same level to make sure that we're not duplicating efforts at all times. And again, you know, to have a great relationship with your staff, you know, working with Michael, especially on for the finance committee, but I want to say thank you. And as we're making changes constantly, so appreciate the patience with us as we're really trying to have the work product be right. And again, Commissioner Smith Charles, again, with those positions today, appreciate it. I mean, I'm like, okay, we gotta do better. But as we keep moving forward, as long as you see improvement, but we're all ears on that, so thank you very much.
Thank you to all of you. Commissioners, we have one more item, well,
Yes.
a few more things, but
Yeah.
we do have to, I need a motion to authorize the public notice and public hearing for September 18th, 2025. Moved by Commissioner Powell, second by Commissioner Ann Galt. Want a prompt vote or just a voice? I can prompt. Okay, let's prompt the vote, please.
You didn't say that loud enough.
Oh, it's me. I got you, I heard you. You want me to make sure it start on time, I got you.
Okay, motion
As
passes.
long as our lunch get here on time.
Thank you
Chairman.
again, and I echo everything that's already been said. Thank you, Michael, everybody, all the commissioners, everybody.
Yeah.
Everybody for showing up and speaking and being transparent. Everybody, it's just been great. Thank you, thank you.
Thank you.
So that brings us to our next public comment. Is there anyone here that would like to address this body? We have 3 minutes.
Just before I get started, I want to say it didn't feel inclusive for everybody. I was here, then I wasn't.
My choice.
It's amazing how quick these meetings go. Anyways, okay, so I just want to lift up a couple things. So first, related to this MEDC bank account, just to make sure it's clear what y'all just did, is voted to approve the sweeping under the rug, $31.7 million in county and taxpayer funds and state and federal dollars that were lost track of for almost 3 years, that were flagged by the IRS, and that no one on the Board of Commissioners has seen, like the accounting of. So just want to make sure that's there. Last thing to say about this, Brian offered to let us all see it, or if we want to talk to him to see it. So Brian, just after 3 months of emailing you, Candice, and the other team, I'd love to see those.
Please direct all your comments to the, please, thank you.
Yep. Second, Clemus. So I want to lift up something to make sure it's clear that the data, the policing, the employees of Clemus, those are doing great. And they've been doing great work since 1968 when Oakland County invented Clemus as a county-funded department. So those are all cool things. The thing that we need to keep in mind is that there has been scandal brought on Clemus. So give it a month, because if you remember, Sean said there will be an investigation or a report coming out that he said is internally being done. So whether that's valid or not by the executive's office, we still haven't even seen a report of what's going on with that. So I'm not saying don't vote on it, I'm not saying don't vote for it, but I'm saying maybe table it till we get the ZadeLogix report. Because it's $450,000 again of taxpayer money that was given out when it wasn't supposed to be in a way it wasn't supposed to be. And we just breezed right past that. So just give it a month, because we're also gonna give them $10 million more. Again, your job is to ensure the public's trust.
Thank you. Is there anyone else that care to address this body? Commissioner?
I'm gonna break protocol because we just heard a bunch of misinformation. One, the contract that was referenced was not paid out. Money was not spent out. It was identified, it was stopped, it was prevented. And to misrepresent that is disingenuous. Second, this assertion that this body swept anything under the rug is absolutely insulting. That all of the funds that was in the MEDC account, the money that we took in, that we responded to in an emergency, and the MEDC said, we need your help, Oakland County, to get more money out to local businesses. Every one of those checks and awards have been accounted for, identified, and the money that's left in that account, we transferred out of the account, and we're going to now fund veteran services. That's what this board did. Thank you.
Comment from the audience, please.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you for that. Anyone else? Is there any other business
Actually, if we could just do a couple voice votes for procedures. We had a couple votes where commissioners voted no when they really wanted to vote yes. And so it's proper just to have quick motions to reconsider. So if we could, I think Commissioner Powell wants to make a motion to reconsider.
I'm okay, I'm okay. I don't need to change it now.
Okay.
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 Thank you so much, I forgot to tell you. I went with the suggestion, I
Okay.
talked to you both, so we're good.
Awesome.
Thank you.
Okay, see. All right. If there's no other business, this meeting is adjourned.
Great job, Lenny.